connected. Are we talking about Hyderabad? No, it's already well connected. So we're now talking about smaller airports, rural airports, and connecting them to other places. So that's where the focus has to be, I feel, and the needs are different. The requirements are different. So we'll talk about technology, since the topic of this session is technology for connectivity. And there is technology that's needed. There are 11 items here. Some of them go on the aircraft, some of them on the air side, some of them on the terminal side. But what's needed at the Delhi airport for T3 or at Hyderabad is not needed at the smaller cities, where you have that 6 movements a day that Michael talked about. So we have to be judicious in the use of technology, in the application of technology, and balance it against the need of the specific location. So if we look at one of the technologies which would be most appropriate at the larger airports, high volume, multi-runway airports like Delhi, you need something like this. It brings the cost down, which is what we're all trying to do. Everyone wants the next iPhone to be cheaper than the last one. Everyone wants the next car to be cheaper than the last one. Everyone wants our air ticket tomorrow to be cheaper than yesterday's. You can't make your air ticket cheaper unless everything else goes down in cost. So everything else has to follow in line. The cost of the airport has to go down. The cost of the airplane has to go down. The cost of the fuel, everything. So if you want lower cost travel, which everyone, when they do the search on the internet, price low to high. That's how we sort. And so if we want lower cost travel, we have to lower cost everything else. And so this is one of the solutions to lower cost. You put in one system instead of an ILS at each end of each runway. You lower your maintenance cost, you lower your inspection costs, you lower your life cycle costs, and you get lower airfares. You also increase traffic throughput, you increase the efficiency of the runways so you can get more out of them. Terminals, large terminals are needed at large airports. And there's all kinds of technology that's needed to make them function. And so we have that capability to make that function. But as I think Michael did a great job here, there's now technology that'll help even these airports become more efficient. So those are some of the things we have to look at. And I'll talk a little now about some of the smaller airports, right? What do we need there? And if you look at, these are just some approximate figures, you look at the cost to build an airport today in India. You're talking about 100 crore rupees just to get the land and put the runway and everything else in. Just the interest cost on that at 12% is 12 crore a year. Someone has to pay that, right? You borrow money from the bank. All of us put money in the bank. We expect 10%. Someone else borrows money from the bank to build an airport. They're going to pay more so that you can get your 10%. Simple math. So if you assume 6 flights a day, 100 passengers per flight, 365 days a year, you're talking about 2 lakh passengers a year. If it's 3 flights, you only 1 lakh. If it's 3 times a week, it's only 1 lakh. If it's 50 passenger planes, it's 1 lakh. So the numbers are scalable here, right? And if you're talking 12 crore rupees, 2 lakh passengers, that's 550 rupees per passenger. That's just the cost of interest. Now you have the operating cost of the airport, security, air conditioning, water, power, maintenance, paint, parking, all those things. They generally cost another 10 to 12 crore per year. So now you've added another 550 for that. And then you want to pay off your investment. You can't just keep it borrowed forever, right? So you got to pay off your investment, say in 30 years, that's another 150 rupees. Now you've got 1,250 rupees per passenger if you get 2 lakh passengers through a airport. So how do we get the cost down? We have to get this cost down. This number has to shrink in order for flights, low frequency flights, small airplanes to fly to regional airports and to be economically viable. So that's where the challenge is, and I think Michael had an example of one way to solve that challenge, reduce the cost having one control tower for multiple, but it's the same thing. Why not expand that concept? You have the one control tower, have one master security center, you know, minimize the roof. Why do you need a big building? I've been personally in airports in the US, small town, less than 200,000 people there, and the whole airport would fit into this hall.